What's up tomorrow? This year's entitled Fasting on a Yohrzeit. Fact is, the Shulchan Aruch talks about this many times, fasting on a Yohrzeit. Nowadays, very often a person comes to shul, has Yohrzeit for a parent. After he finishes the minyan, he'll put out some cake and some drinks, and they'll make brachos out of respect for the deceased. But that's not from the Shulchan Aruch. The Shulchan Aruch has just the opposite. The Shulchan Aruch says on the Yohrzeit for a parent, there's a great mitzvah to fast, have a tanis, and it's mentioned all over the Shulchan Aruch. Matter of fact, come to think of it, I don't know if there's any other halach in the Shulchan Aruch, any other mitzvah in the Shulchan that is mentioned so frequently as this one. We have this in Hilchos Nadarim, it's mentioned. In Hilchos Tanis is mentioned a few times. Hilchos Availut is mentioned. It's really all over the place. So it's fascinating that we don't do it. Something open the Shulchan Aruch, a mitzvah to be done, and we don't do it. We do the opposite. So some justify by saying, listen, today when we fast, what do we do all day? We look at our watch and we wait for it to end. So when you have an obligation to fast on Yom Kippur, Tisha B'Av, Shabbos, Tamas, Gedai, Tanis, Esther, Sarah B'Teves, you have to fast. It helps my ruchniya. I'm thinking all day about food. It doesn't make a difference. Make it work as best as you can. You have no choice. But to take upon yourself an optional fast, where it's true it's a great mitzvah, but you're not obligated, so then we don't do it anymore because you're going to end up losing more than you gain. That's the thinking behind the minhag today of not fasting on the Yohrzeit. But let's say a person says, no, this is what I do. I fast on Yohrzeit. And my avodas Hashem, my spirituality is only heightened by this activity, by the fasting. And I want to do it. So we say, Kol HaKavod, that's amazing. The Rav's Yohrzeit drushes, magnificent shiurim that he gave for hours. It was fasting, if I'm not mistaken. So a person says, I want to fast. That's how I want to commemorate my parents. It's a day of tshuva, introspection, a day for me to think, am I following my father's path? Do I need to improve in certain areas? Look at his legacy. Am I living such a life? That's a beautiful idea. So the only thing is, what happens if, let's say, the fast falls out? The Yohrzeit is during a day that you don't say Tachanun. Shabbos, Chol HaMoed, Rosh Chodesh, Tishrei, we don't say Tachanun. Nisan, we don't say Tachanun. So there, the Shulchan Aruch writes in Hilchos Tanis that if it's Shabbos or Rosh Chodesh, we don't do the fast. And the Ramah says, any day that we don't say Tachanun, we also take upon ourselves this voluntary fast. So, L'maisa, most people don't fast in the first place, but someone who does, Kol HaKavod to that person, if it's a good, successful day, that's great. But they would not fast on a day that you're not going to say Tachanun, because the day we don't say Tachanun is already a happier day. We don't accept voluntary fasts on such a day. Shalom.